Good morning, everyone. The reading that we have in the Gospel today is John's Gospel, chapter 12, where it's a reading that's often used at funerals. In fact, I quite like it. It talks about, unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it cannot bring new life. And I think that's quite important to acknowledge that obviously Jesus would be talking about himself, that unless he dies, he cannot bring new life. But much of what happens within life is that there is that cycle. That we've got to look for from the difficulties, try to find the goodness that will come out of that. In that regard, we look at the saint of today, and the saint is Saint Lawrence, who is in fact was a Roman deacon, probably best known for the way in which he died, sadly. That he was put onto a rack and roasted alive, sadly. But he had a wonderful sense of humor, and even to his torturers, as alleged to have said to them, "I'm done on that side, you can turn me over." Now, you can imagine anybody in that kind of pain to be able to have that kind of brighter look on life. But he was a man who was a caring man, always cared for the poor. And you want to say how sad that somebody who cared for the poor would be somebody who could be put to death in such a way. I think the Romans had a lot to answer for in the time, and clearly there were ways in which they tortured people and put them to death that they themselves eventually had to do away with, because they realized just how horrific they were and how foolish they were. But our first reading today is from the second letter to Corinthians, and St. Paul tells us God loves a cheerful giver. And we see in St. Lawrence somebody who's got a cheerful disposition. Try that again, disposition. And I think we need to have a cheerful disposition if we can. Some of you might have heard me ironically saying, what about all the grumpy people? Why do we always have to be so cheerful? Why can't we give the grumpy people some time? And I have a t-shirt that says grumpy old man, but we all know that's a way of laughing at ourselves. So we need to be cheerful and to be giving in what we do, generous, and not counting the cost, as St. Ignatius would say. Do it generously with a good heart, and do it with a smile on our faces. And that way we can make a little bit of a difference in life. So you have a wonderful and a cheerful day. We'll see you again. God bless. Bye-bye.